Okay, everybody, back on the mummy. Here's my experiment. I used Snow White, and I used Ghost Gray. Very little bit of the Ghost Gray, more of the white. It's the color I came up with. I think it looks pretty cool, so I'm going to go ahead and paint it onto his chest here, and let's see how it's going to look. So let me get started here. Hopefully everybody can see this. Let me get a glove on. Alright, got a glove on. Go ahead and pick up. It's looking pretty good so far. Hopefully everybody can, yeah. Just want to make sure it's, see it 50 million times that it's in frame. I think it's looking pretty good. I really like these oils. They're so easy to work with, clean up. They go on really nice. It's turning out to be looking pretty good here. My little experiment. I like that primer's showing through, which is good. I mean, I wanted to give them a little bit of that white look, but not completely. And I can still do a wash to them, or we'll see here in a little bit, but I think he's looking pretty good. Go ahead and do this side here. Almost there. Alright guys, that's what he looks like. I think it looks pretty cool. I'll probably use some of this panel line, this black. Can use it for a wash too, if I want to experiment and go all over the oil I just did, but I'll wait and see. But I think he turned out pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. I like that the gray primer still shows up a little bit through that white, which is good. Then I'll try to weather him up a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and pause, finish him up, see where any spots that I may have missed on him with the oil paints, and I'll talk with everybody later. Alright everybody, this is Sunday, September 15th. Back down in my shop, my weekend off. And been working on the mummy on and off last week, and I worked on them yesterday, and I'm back down in my shop to pick up today and do a little bit more work on him. I think he's looking pretty awesome, and should be done with him pretty soon. Maybe today or by next weekend. I don't have much more to do working on the mummy for the Halloween group build. So let me stop rattling off, and I'll turn the camera around and let everybody get a look at the mummy. Alright. I know my lighting, I keep saying that. I gotta work on that, but you can see here, it's looking pretty good. I focused on the chest part of the mummy yesterday with the oils that I used, and then I dirtied up a little bit more on his face, and he's looking really good. You can see here. I don't think I can do much more to him, but he's looking really cool. I have these powder, let me grab it. Bought this stuff a long time ago from the model shop that's no longer open. It's called Doc O'Brien's Weathering Powders from Micro Mark. And what I used yesterday on his face, I used Grimy Black, and I used some Mildew Green. I thought this paint here, I did the Abrams tank. I forget what scale it is, probably 1/35th scale. And it's 50-50. It's buff and desert yellow. And I have plenty left over to do probably a couple more tanks. But I thought about maybe using this on the mummy. But when I looked at the picture, it looks like it's pretty weathered out on his cloth there. So what I have here, I got a light gray wash, and I have a dark gray wash. I might go with the light and go over that white oil paint on the cloth there. I did use yesterday the Snow White, and I used a little bit, I mixed it with a little bit of Ghost Gray. I didn't want it completely Snow White. You can see here that it's far from being as white as the oil itself, but that's about all I'm going to have to do is weather that up. The back side here, I'll probably go with this mixture of buff and desert yellow for that. Kind of blend it in with the pedestal. Probably go that route with that. I'm going to have to see how that oil is. It's been sitting overnight. It should be somewhat dry. I'll have to check it out here in a minute. And I'll set up the camera. This is what I'm using for my camera. Perfect. It tilts, it does everything. I've used this on previous builds that I showed in my spray booth painting my other kits, like the Yellow Submarine. And use this little device here. I screw it on the bottom of my camera, and then I mount it on top here. It's perfect. And that's what I've been using. So getting back on the mummy, I'll pause the camera, set it up so everybody can see me weather up the cloth part here, the stuff that they wrap them up with. So I'm rattling off. Let me pause and I'll be right back. Alright everybody, back on the mummy. I experimented a little bit down here with the gray wash. It's looking pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead. The oil is still a little bit tacky, but I take it easy and just apply it. It should be just fine. So let me go ahead and get started. This shouldn't take too long. I'm just going to dab it on. Looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. You can see here. Won't take long to do this, and then I'll have to let it dry, probably for a couple of days, because that oil's still a little bit tacky. It's looking good. Looking pretty good. Hopefully that was all in frame. I'm just dabbing it on lightly, like. A little bit of the oil is coming off on the brush, but not enough to worry about it taking it all off. And let's see, let me get a Q-tip. Pick up some of this. Oh, there you have it. I got to get around the back side of his neck, but I think that wash is making it look really good. Looking, you know, weathered and like he just came out of the grave. But it's looking good. So I'll finish up, show the results later. Like I said, I'm not going to do much more to the mummy. Back part I'll probably use this mixture, and also on his head yesterday I did use some panel line, but again, I'm rattling off. Hopefully that was all in frame. Everybody got a look at putting the wash on, and it looks really good. So I'll go ahead, pause, finish up, and I'll talk with everybody later. Alright everybody, another update on the mummy. I'm done with it. I finished it up today, which is Sunday, September 15th. Off camera, I used the mixture I got here, the buff and desert yellow, and which I'll point out that the sides of the mummy and the back, which I know the lighting down here, and it looks really nice. Really turned out nice. The only thing I lack on the mummy now is the eyes, and I'll have to wait and do that next week. I gotta let this dry real good, since I did the wash on the cloth part where they wrap them up over the white and gray oil that I used yesterday, and the gray wash turned out really nice. It really looks cool. But I say this is it for the Halloween group build. I'll do another quick update on this once I get the eyes put on them. That's going to be a little tricky with the eyes, but I'll get it. I had no problem with the girls, but there you go, looking pretty cool. Let me see if I can get some more lighting in there. You can see his face. Looks really cool. So I'll pause for now, and I'll finish up this video once I get the eyes put onto the mummy, and I'll talk with everybody later. Alright everybody, this is Friday, September 20th, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm finally done with the mummy. I'll have to take pictures and send it to Kenny's email address so he can add it to the Halloween group build. All I have to do now is apply a flat clear coat on it. Yesterday I applied the eyes, and I went through a few of them because they're not easy to do. That's the only thing I hate about doing figure kits. The eyes are tricky. I think they turned out okay, but I got them on my workbench, and I'll show in a minute everything that I used on the mummy, so anybody's got ideas of getting this down the road and can get the materials I have or close to it to make one up yourself. That'd be cool. I would sure watch your video if you posted it on your YouTube channel. But the oils, the acrylics I used, and the garage kit paints that I used, it turned out pretty good. I ended up using some weathering. I'll show that too. Like I said, the trickiest part of them was the eyes, but I got that done and it's looking good. So let me go ahead, turn the camera over to my workbench and let everybody take a look at the mummy. Alright, I know I keep saying about the lighting. Here's the mummy. He's all done. I just redid his eyes with the grimy black weathering powder that I have. And then if the camera's going to pick up his eyes. I did the best I could with his eyes. I think they turned out pretty good. And here's the end results to the mummy. Of all that I did to him. He looks pretty good. And like I said, all I have to do now is hit him with a flat clear, which I'll do when I'm done with this video. And then I'll put him in this display case next to the girls upstairs. But I think he turned out pretty good. The materials I used, I don't have, I got it right here. I used the Badger's primer, and then I went with, after that I went with the Light Flesh, it's also a Badger. After that I went with the Gravestone Gray from GarageKits.us. Never had any problems so far with his paints. They turned out pretty good. I did use some black panel line on his head, Tamiya. Then the mixture I did with the tank that I did, I think it's 1/48 scale. The Tamiya Buff and Desert Yellow, 50-50 mixed, I used on the tank, and I decided to use it on the back side here, as you can see, and have it kind of blend in with the base. And the powders I used was the Grimy Black and the Mildew Green on his face, and they're just powders, which I'm glad I had those. And then I used the oils, the 502 oils. I got them all right here. I used the Dead Flesh, Ghost Gray, Coagulated Blood. I used Faded Flesh, and I used black. One more thing, here, I'll set the camera down here. I'll be right back. I forgot this, I have to show this too. For the pedestal, I used this desert sand. I don't know if it's still available. It should be, from Valero. I'll probably have to check online. I stopped at the model shop yesterday, picked up a model. I'll have to show that in another video of what I picked up. Star Wars kit, AMT, and asked the guy in the model store if he still had this, and I think he gave me some bad news. I think he said to discontinue this, so they're not making it anymore. And it's a paste, so I'll have to see what's available on the internet. But that's everything on my workbench that I used on the Mummy, and I think he turned out pretty awesome. So getting back to the Mummy, let everybody take another look at him. I think he turned out really cool. I did an update, part 3 on the Mummy. I don't know if I'm going to post that. I might just post this here to show the end results to the Mummy. I'm still bad at trying to spit out what I want to say when I'm doing my kits, and that's the biggest challenge I have, is trying to explain what I'm doing. I'm not very good at it. I'm trying to overcome that. It's not always easy. It's a little bit of a challenge for me. I got to try to overcome that and get better at it. Some of my videos I got on my YouTube channel are pretty good. Others could be brushed up on, but all I can do is work on that part of it. But I wanted to show everybody that the Mummy is done for the 2019 Scifiantasy Halloween group build. I'd like to thank all my YouTube subscribers. I'd like to thank everybody for watching. Be more on my YouTube channel. The next thing I have to start back up on is the Sea View. So I'll call this a wrap on the Mummy, and I'll talk with everybody later. Alright, I'm going to add this to the end of the video because I screwed up. I forgot to bring out the Snow White oil that I used on his cloth on the Mummy. I used this and I mixed it with the Ghost Gray right here, and then I let it dry for a good day. The oil was a little bit tacky, but then I went over it with this Valero light gray wash, and it turned out so nice. I didn't even have to go with the black panel line that I thought I'd have to use. It just turned out perfect as far as I'm concerned. So that was my mistake. I thought I had everything out on my workbench, and I didn't. I forgot about that white and Valero light gray wash. So I'll say again, thanks for subbing to my channel. Thanks for watching my YouTube channel. I'd like to thank everybody for watching, and I'll talk with everybody later.